at the very least. And that's the earliest mention of the word in the Bible. So, not a good idea for Christians to use this word to refer to themselves. Just zoom in on that word again so you can see it very clearly. There's the N. First letter there's the N. And then we've got the O. This is a W, a Vav. I'm not sure if I can select it right now. There it is. That's a Vav, an O. This is a TZ, Tzadi it's called. And this is the R. It looks a bit like an R, but it's facing backwards, a small R. And this is the Yod, I. And this is the M, Netzarim. That's exactly how it's spelled, Netzarim. You've also got the Nikudot underneath and on top, which changes and gives you guidelines on the pronunciation properly, but that's exactly who we're talking about here, the Netzarim. Now, this word is not the same as this word. Can you see the difference here? You've got the N, the same. Then you've got the TZ, but there's no Vav, there's no O. The O is missing. This letter has gone. It's not there. The rest is the same. N, T, Z, R, I, M. But the O is missing. I think that the Strong's Hebrew Concordance doesn't actually distinguish between the two words. It doesn't recognize the distinction between the two words. This is Strong's Hebrew Concordance. It's word number 5341, and they also include this as 5341 too, but it's not the same word. The reason why they've included this the same word is because of the nikudot. Those are little dots on top and underneath, which I said we can ignore in this one. But here, suddenly, because of the nikudot, this word, which actually said Netzarim, suddenly turns into Netzarim because of the nikudot. Nikudot is the Hebrew equivalent of the harakah in Arabic language. Do excuse me, I'm so sorry. So, the Hebrew equivalent of the harakah in the Arabic language was only inserted by a sect called the Karaites 1,000 years ago. It's not that old. And the Karaites inserted it to sort of push their ideas and agenda. And it's quite ironic that it was accepted by everybody. And there, with it, a lot of Karaite ideas came along too. So, for example, there is a common idea in Orthodox Judaism that Hagar and Keturah are the same person. That's the wives of Abraham are Sarah, Hagar, and Keturah, 3 wives. But in rabbinical Judaism, traditionally, it's understood that Hagar and Keturah are the same person. Her name is Keturah, and Hagar is simply her title, Hager, because she was a convert. Now, in Karaite Judaism, that's not the case. He has 3 wives, not 2 wives, because Karaites wanted to have more wives. So they made that more legitimate. Now, there are passages in the literal Torah itself which make it look like it's quite clear that Keturah and Hagar are 2 different people. But there are, believe it or not, explanations about why those passages exist in Mishnaic Judaism. But Karaite Judaism says, no, it's pretty clear they're different people, so let's put a different harakah, let's put a different nikudot on the word Hagar to change it from Hager, the convert, and make it into a proper name, Hagar, so that she becomes Hagar. So that has become standard. If you read the Bible, biblical references to Hagar in Hebrew, you will see that the nikudot on the word Hagar is very clearly different from the nikudot on the word Hager. And yet, the rabbinical Judaism has accepted the nikudot on the Bible, which the Karaites inserted 1,000 years ago, as standard. They accepted it as standard, but nevertheless they keep and continue to promote the Mishnaic interpretation that Hagar and Keturah are the same person. And here we have a situation which is similar. The exact word for Netzarim has got a vav in it, but here the word for Netzarim hasn't got a vav in it. And that means that this word really should be a different word from this word, but it's not. And there's no way to argue that it is a different word, except for the fact that the word vav, that the letter vav is missing. So in total you have 61 occurrences of Strong's Hebrew word 5341 in the Masoretic text, and it's got the whole list down here, going down here, of all the occurrences. But I would suggest that really we have to separate these ones up to about here. We have to separate out these occurrences from this one here, which is a different word. And this word here, the two occurrences, is the one we're looking at right now. So these are different. This is a total of about 33 occurrences of the word which do not have a vav in them. So it's like a different root. Nevertheless, they are all lumped together, and that makes people think that all of these verses are about the Netzarim, or related to the Netzarim somehow, which is really not a very good way of reading it, because some of these passages are very good. They're about a different group, a group which is respected, a group which keeps the laws of God, that preserves the Torah, protects the Torah. And here we have a group which doesn't do that, that they despise the Torah, they do the exact opposite. So even if Strong's concordance says it's the same word in all cases, our simple reasoning tells us that those people who protect and keep the law of God cannot be categorized as the same as those people who reject the word of God. They can't be the same people. They're a different group. Simple logic, simple reasoning tells us that. So we have to say, sorry, Strongs, you're wrong. This